Well, hello, everybody. It's Dr. Hank, and welcome to Agent Wealth Success. And you know what we do here? We help real estate agents and brokers to increase both their business and their wealth. And it's really an important point on to be able to build wealth and have wealth for us. And today I'm going to help you increase your business with, I call him like the magic appointment maker guy, that he just is incredible. His name is Aaron Martinez, and he has a company called RE Agent Growth. And if I can, I just wanted, and so welcome to the show, Aaron.
Thanks so much for having me, man. Appreciate it.
You bet. And but Aaron, has been amazing. He kind of knows the technology like I don't, if you will. I'm always trying to get more likes, like on Facebook, and my dog gets 50 times more likes than I do.
Hey, look, it's the same thing. I have two little ones, and they literally get more likes than I ever do on myself. So I know exactly how it is.
But actually, a few years ago, you started out and ended up having a following of 200,000 people. And then you said, hey, I really know how to do this, and I know how to attract people, and I have the technology and the wherewithal. So kind of a guru in that arena. And so what you do now is just focus on real estate agents growth. And you do that through actually getting them appointments. And I just love it. Like in the first week that you've gotten 80 leads, 21 appointments for the people. You have a call center, and I have agents that have shared with me that they've gotten, they've made 16 grand in the first week with you. And so a huge return on investment. And later on, we'll offer a few free goodies for everybody, and some free ads training and things like that. But Aaron, that again, welcome to the show, and tell us, how do you do it?
First of all, amazing intro, probably the best intro I've ever received. You basically gave my entire life story. So so I guess just going off a couple of those things, exactly how we do it. I mean, it might be a little bit hard to condense it into 30 or 40 minutes, but essentially, what we do really high level is, we run advertisements, right, for each of the partners, whether it's a real estate broker, agent, team leader. And then we, run the ads. And then kind of like you said, we do a lot of the follow up on our end. So whether it is through email, through text, through voicemail drops, there's a lot of crazy technology out there that we utilize. And our mission is to, get as many number one, pre-qualify, the buyers and sellers, right? So whether they're, wherever they are within the US, and then literally get them in contact with the agent as quickly as possible, right? So whether that's through a live transfer, whether that's through setting appointments for them, whether that's making that transition within maybe like a text message or an email chain, whatever it is. Our goal is to get them connected with the buyer or seller as quickly as possible.
Awesome. That's just fantastic. And you can do any market in the United States?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we are right now. So we're pretty much all over the place. I mean, as left of the US is, in a couple places in California, down in Texas, we have some people. I'm located in Virginia Beach, and there's a relatively large brokerage, over 300 agents that we work with right now. New York, Florida, like Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, literally anywhere.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah. And so the technology is sweet, and you know how to leverage that technology. And, we're all looking for, hey, give us a pre-qualified appointment. It's like just amazing, right in our lap. And that's what we're definitely looking for. And so for purposes of today, that, again, everybody, you can take my word for it, that Aaron, he knows and how to do it. And if you're interested in really taking your business to a whole nother level, and just a word about that, the next 4 months are going to be just huge for real estate. In fact, what's happened is it's kind of like a hose was really going strong here in the beginning beginning of the year, and then a crimp came in
Yep.
because of the coronavirus. And now because states are opening up and people are getting a little bit more relaxed, and I just posted some statistics on Facebook on, hey, there's really good news. You know, the number one like mortality, if you will, is on heart attack, and number two is on cancer, and number three, in other words, you know, it's not this virus.
Yeah, it's kind of far down on the list. Yeah.
And so the good news is it's going to blow up. So if you're going to take some time right now, and if you want to invest, one area that you can invest in is certainly with Aaron. But so for purposes today on knowing that, can you tell us, like, how can, you know, with ads, because you're a master at the ads too, and attracting all of these buyers and sellers, and what could we use, what can you share your wisdom with us as far as how can an agent really stand out and now in today's world, and what are some tips that you can give us, so even if we, you know, if that for sure they'll get something out of this show to help them increase their business just on their own. And so what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, for sure. And I just wanted to backpedal a little bit what you were saying with the, you know, kind of the situation in the world with COVID, and, you know, we even like translating further up to like really this time, we're recording this, today is like June, middle of June.
Right.
So I think when everything like first started getting, we'll say, crazy back in, let's say, like April, like March, April time, what we were seeing in the ad side is and I won't get too nerdy or technical because I can go on that all day long. But what we were seeing is the cost to acquire a new lead or appointment dipped significantly, right? Somewhere in San Diego, we would maybe generate a lead for, let's say, $7. We were getting for like 80 cents, $1, $2, right? So it was crazy because, you know, a lot of people were pulling out of their advertising dollars because they just assumed, you know, well, real estate's going down the drain. And when, you know, we both know it's the ones that, you know, do extra during those times and use it as a growing opportunity are the ones that, you know, they see the light at the end of the tunnel and they come out the other side a lot more powerful, right? Yeah. So in terms of being able to be different, honestly, like I think the first step is just to do it, right? Like be active on social media. Like I commend you, man, for all the stuff that you're doing on social media. Like your website's fully optimized. Like, you know, I was doing a little bit of digging before the show. And, you know, a lot of the stuff you have it's out there, right? You have a podcast, you have a show. And the reason that, you know, a lot of people, let's say, I mean, think about it. These potential clients are looking to someone to make the biggest investment in their life. Yeah. Right. Real estate agents are a dime a dozen. I mean, I don't want that to sound negative, but like it feels like everybody's a real estate agent. So what are you going to do differently that is going to set you apart from that person? And really, it could just literally be as simple as what you're doing right here, right? You have a podcast, and I mean, to the, you know, to the naked eye, to somebody that's from the outside looking in, it establishes you as the expert, right? It establishes you as the credibility figure. And when someone is looking for, you know, to buy or sell a house, I mean, they're going to go to Dr. Hank because he knows what he's talking about. Yeah. Right. So I think just number one, understanding that like just being consistent, whether it is on social media or with your current list, just being out there talking about, you know, the market trends, right? Is it a buyer's or seller's market? Gives people some tips on like, should we move now? Should we move later? Things like that. So I guess just coming back to the original point of the question is, you know, I think just being consistent and consistently putting yourself in front of people is how you can just that and in it of itself can make you stand out.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And so like when you say ads, and like this ad it went from $6 to $7 to 80 cents. Can you tell us a little about that, and what is that? Like what ads? Where are you running that? Or, you know, what have you found? Where have you found the most success?
For sure. So again, not to get super technical with it, but anybody that's listening to the show has probably heard, you know, the word boost, right? Boosting posts on Facebook. Yeah. And I would say like that is probably the last thing that you ever want to do. Like I would say put your money, like go buy like a bus bench before you put it into boosting a post on Facebook. With that being said, so when I say ad is more of like through the back end, we'll call the back end of Facebook. And that is so that we can optimize for specific events, let's just say for leads, right? A lot of times, and if you've you know, boosted posts before, you can see that a lot of times you'll get likes, you'll get, you know, comments, you'll get some page likes, you'll get these different things, but never really anything that converts into an actual home sale. What we do a little bit differently is we optimize our campaigns, we'll call it, for leads. So what basically it's telling Facebook is we don't want to get more leads, or I'm sorry, we don't want to get more likes, we don't want to get more comments, we want to get more leads, right? So we optimize for the lead side of things.
You're my kind of guy here, Aaron, because that's what the likes don't squat,
Yeah, what I usually say is, likes and comments are great, but you can't pay rent, or you can't pay your mortgage with likes and comments.
Right, exactly, yeah. So by a campaign, what do you mean by a campaign then?
Yep. So campaigns, at a high level, are just the ways that Facebook, or the ways that your potential client will see you, right? So some of the, we'll say, most used campaigns, and this kind of leads to a little thing we'll give out at the end of that'll be free, is a couple of just campaigns that we've seen that work well. So for example, we just started running one in San Diego, which is check out this list of homes under $300,000, right, or $400,000, right? We'll call that the campaign, right? It's what we're running, it's what we're putting in front of the ideal client. Cool. We do things like that. We've tested things that work really well for like new construction. We've tested some things that work for FSBOs. We've tested different like mortgage quiz kind of like angles. There's a lot of different ones that we try. But I think that's the biggest thing too, is if anybody's going to run and do any types of campaigns or run any types of ads, testing is the name of the game in a lot of these.
Wow, I love that. And you hit on one of them, that we have 4 primary lead programs that are free to our agents and brokers, and one of them is this new home sales. And because we're looking at it basically as a seller's market, and so you have all these buyers and not enough sellers, if you will. And fortunately, the builders have, even last month, their building, they thought their building would decrease, and I estimated that it would increase, and it did by 20%. And so they kept on blowing and going, if you will, and building these homes. So it's inventory. So is there a way, because what we do, we get, like we walk in and we become the preferred agent in these new home builders, because we have a whole strategy and different resources that we provide them in order to exploit and advertise, if you will, and create interest in their new homes, and their spec homes or whatever homes that are coming up. And so would your advertising actually take, let's just say with the new home builder, a spec home, and you could make hay out of that?
Yeah, no, that's actually a really, really, what we've seen in certain markets work extremely well. And for the same obvious reasons of, with the new construction or new home build, the way that we frame it in some of these ads is like, hey, you're about to make the biggest investment of your life. Make it something that you want, right? Make it something that you can make changes to, right? And whether that is like 100% true or not, I know a lot of times with new construction, like you can get specific types of, between the agent and the builder, you can get specific deals. So whether it's like specific amount off or, less down payment, whatever that is, I think just the main thing there is putting that in front of the potential buyer or seller. Sorry, in front of the potential buyer. And something we've done recently too, because I'm glad you touched on the seller's market, is that it's just the case, right? There's a lot of people that are buying, but there's very, very little inventory. So what we're seeing that works best, and like everybody, this is like people pay us for this information. Something that you can do is running like a buyer's campaign, right? Something that we've done. So generate a lot of buyers, because you're going to, it's a seller's market. So you get a bunch of buyers, put it on an Excel spreadsheet. And then if we take that, right, that list, we put it in front of the ideal client again, and literally say, hey, potential seller, we have hundreds of people in your market that want to buy your house. Click this below and figure out what your home is worth in this current market, and it's going to be gone in 30 days or less. Right? So that's super secret sauce that my business partner Ron will probably hate me for sharing that, but it's something that's working really, really well right now.
Well, we thank you for sharing that. That's just awesome. And so, so then the next question I have is really, it's just delightful to hear that, and what a, brilliant way I'd get a bunch of buyers and then go and prospective, listings, and because listings really is the name of the game. It really kind of always is, because it's easier, of any,
100%.
especially right now, it is. And we have ways to do it, instead of green, kind of the new in word is clean. And so, people want to be clean, not necessarily the environment, not that they're against the environment, but their priority is to be clean.
Yeah.
We have ways to, show all of that and everything. So now the question that I have is, so how do you find, so let's say on Facebook, how do you find, let's first start with the buyers, using your example, that is there a way to, with Facebook, I've done a boost, which like you said, is just a waste of time, and I'm doing
well, now you know.
and you're right, I haven't got much out of it. So, and I mainly am looking to attract agents and brokers, because we have all these, amazing resources, and so you're, and you're one of those, amazing resources, Aaron. We thank you so much for that. And so when I would do it, I try to find it, and it's such a general category that, it's just really tough for me to identify, for example, I can't just put in real estate agents, there. So how do you get that target audience? And let's start with buyers. How do you get that?
Yeah. So I guess let me clarify the question. So you're saying, how are you bringing in more buyers, or how are you bringing more agents for recruiting?
Yeah. So buyers, I'm on, and take that whole thing about me and, helping other agents and brokers, because I'm mainly here just to serve the agents and brokers to increase their business. So I want to know about buyers. How do you target buyers in a market? Because, again, the next question is going to be, then how do you target the sellers to, or potential sellers on those buyers that you have? But I want to start with buyers. What do you do? How do you know? Is it an area, or how do you do that?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I get that asked a lot, because it's one thing to run a campaign, but it's another thing to run the campaign in front of the right people, right? You need both those pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
So, and it might sound really, really crazy, but recently, and I don't know if you've seen this, but Facebook has cracked down on a lot of specific targeting that you can do. So about a year and a half, 2 years ago, Facebook got really strict with being able to, because you used to be able to go crazy with it. You used to be able to target income, job titles, you used to be able to target specific zip codes, right? It was crazy. And then, Facebook was like, well, this is a little bit too intrusive. So let's pull back a little bit. So now it's gotten very limited, right? You can only, you can't change your audience, or I'm sorry, you can't change the age range, right? So usually you could only chart, let's say you only wanted to target 25 plus, right? People that are ready to move forward.
Right.
It's not the case anymore when you're using the homes special category. So the way that we've done it, and the cool part with Facebook is Facebook has data from basically everybody. I've never met somebody that, well, I won't say that, 99.9% of the time, I've never met somebody that didn't have a Facebook page.
Yeah.
Right? So if you do have a Facebook, that means that they have your data. So at the end of the day, what we've seen the most success with in terms of targeting, you would think you would have to get granular and say oh, I only want to target home buyers or this or that. But the crazy part about Facebook is if you just keep that audience wide open, right? You target every single person in there.
Okay.
As long as your copy, right? The copy being the words above the ad, as long as the ad is catered to a specific home buyer, Sally Johnson that had never wanted to buy a house isn't going to fill out the ad. You know what I mean? One thing that we do differently too is before even just saying all right, put in your name, phone number, email, because from what we found, that a lot of times doesn't generate the most qualified people. So what we do is we put 10, 15 questions in front of this person before they even are considered a lead. And what that does for us is, number one, allows us to find people that are actually interested, people that are in market looking to actually buy a house. And also, it allows Facebook to take those people and find people that are like that person, right? Because at the end of the day, Facebook wants you to keep spending money. So let's just say you're spending money and you're not getting your return out of it. You're not going to spend money. Yeah. So what Facebook is doing is they're like, okay, I want this person. There goes the light. It's fine. Please don't see me.
Okay, I got the light on me.
Yeah, sounds good. So Facebook wants you to keep spending money. So they're going to say, okay, I'm going to go find people that are like John Smith that wants to buy a house and put this ad in front of a bunch of John Smiths.
Wow.
Right. So then at that point, Facebook is just feeding the ad to only people that want to move forward. And then, of course, we filter out the ones that are able to, the ones that are actually looking to buy a house.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so when you say run an ad, on Facebook, so that's not a boost?
No. Sorry.
Yeah.
So technically, both of them are ads, right? So whether you're boosting or running an ad, we'll call it on the back end. The only difference is that when you're boosting a post, you are very limited. You're limited to what you can do with it, right? So like we touched on before, is if you're running with like just you getting likes or comments, things like that. When you're boosting a post, you can't optimize for. I know this is super techy, but you can't optimize for leads. You can't generate leads on the front end with a boost.
Okay. So on the back end, when you say that, what does that even mean? I don't understand that.
I know it's super techy. But when I say back end, what I mean with that is, you guys can test this out. If you go to business.facebook.com, it'll bring up what is called your business manager. And on that side is where you have all the tech nerdy stuff that I love. Right. There's, you can optimize for website views. You can optimize for leads. You can optimize for conversions, for app downloads. Like there's a lot of other things, and it's a lot more powerful on the back end. But there's a really good reason why companies like me are around, because a lot of people want to do what they do best, right? They want to go out and talk to potential buyers, not waste time on the back end of Facebook. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And just for clarity, if people just have jumped on before after the beginning of the intro, that Aaron has a process that really works. Like he typically is getting agents like 80 leads a week, 21 appointments a week. They're making in the first week that agents are making, 16 to 25,000, and that basically means they're going to be closing one or two deals, and so you just kind of gave us, and again, you're giving us some of your secrets here.
Secret sauce right here, yeah.
A secret sauce, and so all thank me for my good questions that I have, because I don't know what the heck's going on in technology, and that's why I need people like you, Aaron.
That's why I'm here.
Exactly. And even on the back end, even though I know where to go on it, that again, I want your expertise to be able to really fine tune that baby and just get it. And so now then the second question, and again, if you're just joining us, that we talked about, one of the strategies you can use is like our leads program that I have on new homes, but then be able to use Aaron, and Aaron knows how to compile like a list of buyers and be able to then send that to listings or with the new home building or a builder or whatever. So we talked about, okay, now you got the buyers, you basically send out those buyers. Facebook helps you to really identify those key people that you want, so it's automatically kind of done the technology. And then the sellers, do you do the same thing then, but it's all about this copy that you do? Is that how you run to the sellers then?
Yeah, 100%. And so and of course, being fully transparent, for obvious reasons, it's a lot more, we'll say, expensive to just do straight sellers campaigns. And the reason being, if we just think about it, it's like, okay, if we run an ad for buyers, right? Like anybody could be looking to buy a house, right? It's like whether they need a second house, whether they're actually looking to move, and the ad's like, puts a light bulb in their head and like, oh, it's a seller's market. Or a couple months back, or even right now, like, interest rates were extremely low. So it's like, that's things that we would put back in front of people. When it comes to sellers though, right? When we're trying to attract them on Facebook, if somebody sees that, they're like, I'm good. You know what I mean? Because it's a little bit harder to get somebody to sell a house than it is to buy, at least through Facebook, right? So that's the first part of it. Just going into it, knowing that, and just for example's sake, from some of our experience, let's say if we were running, let's say, an ad for buyers versus sellers, buyers leads we can easily get for $2 or $3. Sellers leads, and this might be a little mind blowing, about $40 to $50.
Yeah.
So you can, my recommendation for everyone is always to run buyer ads, because you're going to get a lot more volume. And hey, a lot of times buyers are sellers, right? So they're living in a house, and if they're like, okay, I want to move in the same area, they're going to be looking to sell the house and list the house too.
Yeah. And that's like with the new homes, that really, if you advertise, through your method on the back end of Facebook, if you advertise this new home builder, that what you'll get is buyers. But what we're finding is, it kind of varies, but about 20% of those buyers, they actually have a home that they need to sell, and they haven't done anything about that yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a lot of times you're not just getting the renters or, people that are out of state. It's like you're getting people that are local. So we just get more of those, right? And we just play, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's coming from, your sphere of influence, your, from Facebook ads, from Zillow, realtor.com, doesn't really matter. But the more people that you can get in contact with, I mean, statistics say every year, 15% of people are looking to buy or sell. Right. Yeah. So it's just a matter of being relevant, being in front of those right people, and and just making sure to stay in contact.
That's awesome. So I think I understand it. And if any of you that do have questions that Aaron, you want to give your contact information on that? That what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah. So for me, I guess a couple ways. Probably the easiest is going to be to shoot me an email. I'm responsive on there. Aaron at RE as in real estate. So reagentgrowth.com.
Okay.
And then I think what we were talking about too is the Facebook group for, do you mind if I plug that too?
Right. No, go ahead and do that. I have a question though. The reason why I'm doing that is, for people that have questions for you right now, it's fresh on their mind. They can send you an email on it. And let's hold off on, there is a Facebook group too. But what I'd like to understand is, I have a lot of resources, and so of course I have other lead gen, companies. But the reason why you're on my show is you're special. But I'd like you to share with our audience on, why is your lead gen? Why is it so stand out, and why do I have you on my show?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think because there is a lot of lead gen people out there. It's a question that comes up a lot for us. So I think one of the main things, and it's funny, I was right before this, I was recording a video about this, and lead generation on Facebook, lead generation really anywhere, buying leads is very simple, right? You can throw up an ad, generate some leads. Okay, perfect. The things that we do a little bit different happen on the back side of things, right? On the back end. So what I mean by that is we have a couple different things in place. So name of the game, especially, doesn't matter where it's coming from. Well, mostly online leads is speed to lead, right? We want to get in contact with them as quickly as possible. Now, what a lot of people do is they put them through an automated drip sequence or an automated drip campaign. And the thing is with those, back to the largest investment in their life, people, great example. There was a guy that came through a campaign earlier, is looking for a house in San Diego for $700,000. And it's somebody doesn't want to go through an automated robot AI technology to find an agent to sell their home or, to buy a home. Right. It needs to come from a human. So with that being said, we've kind of filled that gap of doing two things. Number one is each campaign that we run, each person that, signs on with us as a partner, we have a dedicated assistant that goes to their campaign. Okay. Right. So instead of, again, getting these automated messages, those people that we have, they work full time, literally just here to respond to leads. Right. Now, there's a big thing within the industry where it's you need to call these people ASAP within 30 seconds to a minute. Trust me, we do that, right? We do follow up via call, text, email. And where we see the most response rate is through text, right? Let's say someone's on Facebook, they're scrolling through, it's 9 p.m., right? They don't want a phone call when they're in bed. Yeah. So the thing is we will nurture that conversation. If someone responds on text, I'll talk to them all day long on text, right? Because so are they. They're going to respond back there. But a lot of times, we're seeing 80% drop off when you try to call somebody right off the bat because there's no rapport built, right? There's nobody really expects that. Right. So back to the original question. So in terms of what we do differently is we do all the stuff on the front end, but we also qualify them, right? So we go back and forth with them. And then we do a couple of things. Number one is, what we always attempt to do is after we've built up rapport, we try to get them on a call and then live transfer to the agent that we're working with. Or, if let's say they're I don't want to talk to the agent right now, we have we'll call a the handoff is what we'll call it, is we ask them questions pertinent to a list of homes that they would be looking for. So instead of us just giving them the list of homes, we just let them know, hey, thanks for all this information, right? We ask them, what's your credit score? Are you already pre-approved? You know, what's your estimated down payment? Are you currently working with a realtor? You know, like 10, 15 questions before we even give them that lead. And then we make that handoff and say, hey, thanks so much for answering the questions. We want to get you, you know, let's say, you know, we're Hank's assistant, right? We're just Hank's assistant, but in order to get you, you know, the list of homes that you're looking for, we're going to connect you via Messenger. You can have the conversation there, and that's what the handoff looks like.
Cool.
So it's really just the nurturing from beginning to end to make sure that you're not following up with leads that had no intent of actually moving forward.
Yeah, I love that. So pre-qualified leads, in essence, is you know, what you're providing, and when the handoff happens, that, you know, I, as an agent, if you will, would be able to identify and understand, you know, who that is and what they need and looking for, so you can have it, and then you're connected on Messenger. The other the last question I have for you, before we give your generous free offer, that is Facebook the only social media? And I know it's, you know, the most people are on it and everything, but is Facebook the only one, or is there anything other social media you recommend?
Yeah, so I think it depends on the ultimate goal, right? If the goal is lead generation, I would say 100% starting on Facebook. Okay. The reason being is, you know, there are we use platforms, all the platforms, right? We use LinkedIn, we use Facebook, we use Instagram, we use YouTube, we use Google, right? We use all of them. Yeah. However, what we're finding is a lot of times with like Google and YouTube, because I mean, it's a search engine, right? People are looking for that. Let's say it's real estate near me. We've seen people spend upwards of, like, just to start out, $10,000 to $15,000 a month just to rank on some of those keywords, right? Because I mean, think about it. You have the, you know, the EXPs, the Remaxes, the Century 21s, Berkshire Hathaway, right? You have all those companies that are spending massive amounts because, I mean, hey, it's just like, you know, they'll flick a quarter and it's like, there's 10 grand. Right. So, but when it comes to Facebook, it becomes a lot more cost effective for somebody that is just starting out, whether a single agent, smaller team, smaller brokerage. It's just a lot more cost effective.
That's great.
So with lead gen, and then, sorry, just one last thing. So lead gen, and if someone wants to work with just branding, right, they just want to get their name out there. YouTube, I mean, it's free, right? Just make videos, upload them on there, and that's the time that I usually.
Okay, cool. And then any thoughts about LinkedIn?
LinkedIn is definitely, we've tested it. I think the only time that we find, again, it comes back to cost effective, right? If we work with somebody, we ask them, what are your goals? How many transactions are you doing? Where do you want to go? If it fits that, we will do LinkedIn, but a lot of times, like, we'll only use LinkedIn if it's more of like commercial, just because you want to get in contact with like the owners or the larger companies. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
For more commercial.
Oh, great. And do you do that then? Like, I have commercial agents then, and so do you do commercial and you do it on LinkedIn?
Yes and no. So the only reason I say no is because a lot of times with commercial, again, it's I mean, when you're thinking about, let's say, a property worth $1 million, right? For us to even test with that on LinkedIn, like, you have to be willing to spend 10, 15, 20 a month
got it.
To acquire, you know, a property of $1 million, right?
Yeah, right.
That's pretty hefty.
Right. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's just awesome. And then, so tell us that, how can we get a hold of you more or get more of your information? I know you're going to offer something here that, and so you have a Facebook group, is that right?
Yeah. So we do have a completely free Facebook group, which actually it goes into like our podcast as well. So we have one as well. It's called Real Estate Marketing Secrets. Just search that up on Facebook. It's the easiest way to find us. We go over, you know, tons of just tips and tricks, everything you need to know about real estate marketing, sales, lead gen, Facebook ads, like, you know, video content, branding, literally all of that. And it's for free. It's free.
That's awesome. And then you're also going to add in a free ads training. Is that right? And so how does that work? Is that on that Facebook, or how do I get that?
Yeah. So actually through Facebook, probably the easiest way is joining the Facebook group. And then when someone is to join the Facebook group, we'll approve it. And then in there's a ton of different resources, and that's one of them in there. So that training, we have a it's called like the one video you need to create for your real estate business. And just to throw this in there, because it's something we're working on, is going to be how to generate leads using virtual open houses. So for obvious reasons, I mean, a lot of times, especially in certain states, it's, being in person and physically showing houses has been a little bit hard. And also another thing that I've heard is like the safety of open houses sometimes. Like I was reading this post the other day of someone that literally got sent to the hospital because they were doing an open house themselves, and someone came in, assaulted them basically. And, it was scary, right? So being able to generate more or the same, if not more leads 100% virtually, literally using the thing that's attached to your hip, it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? So
I love it. Well, that's very enticing. So one video you need as a real estate agent, and then the other one leads using virtual open houses, right?
Yep.
Right. Yeah. A virtual open house. I'm taking notes here, and hopefully all of you are taking notes here too. So that is just fantastic. And so again, Aaron can be reached too, just personally, if you want to reach out to him, Aaron at reagentgrowth.com. And then his real estate Facebook, where you can really get a lot of information. So if you're already on your way, great. If you want the fast and easy way, that use Aaron's services, but it's real estate marketing secrets. And I just love all your terminology and everything you have.
Thank you.
It's good.
I'm teaching branding, I'm teaching ads. So if we don't have it ourselves, there's probably a problem.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's fantastic. Well, that's great. Any other any last thoughts you want to share with us, Aaron, before we end this fantastic show?
Not really, man. I think just the biggest thing, and I always come back to this with every, like, we'll call it sales calls or strategy meetings or whatever it is just making sure to consistently be doing the things that are gonna get you closer to your goal, right? We talk to a lot of people, like I'd say, probably 30, 40, 50 agents every single week, or agents, brokers, teams, whatever it is. And, a lot of people just continue doing what they're doing, right? They say, Aaron, I want to get 5 transactions, 10, 15, 20 transactions a month. I want to build a team. And then it comes down to it. And they're like, well, I'm actually going to keep doing what I'm doing. And it's like, are the things you're doing going in line with what you want, right? And if the answer is yes, then, keep doing what you're doing. If it's not, then we need to make some changes. So
that's awesome.
That's the thing I'll put in there.
Well, with that, Aaron, we thank you so much for being on the show today. You just rock, man, and gave us new insights into what to run ads in this booth. I just love the booth. We'll do on the bench, on some park or on some.
Yeah, hopefully we'll save people some money.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. And then to all of you out there, this is Dr. Hank at Agent Wealth Success, and we wish you a lot of wealth and success. And I'll be on Thursday at 11 o'clock Central on where we discuss 5 ways to be able to, the 5 steps to be able to increase your both business and your wealth. And with that, we thank you all so much. Enjoy your day and know everything is coming your way. Bye-bye. Love you all.